Rick, you are one of the co-founders. You're a super early investor in active membranes. And the most interesting thing, I think, is what was your motivation really to jump into the membrane world, into the membrane business with active membranes?
So in order to answer that question, I have to go back just a bit and just talk about my relationship with Ari and with Eric Hook, and then subsequently with David Jasby. But I have known these guys for a number of years, and through a couple of other investments. And it's as well as you think you may get to know somebody, you really don't get to know them until challenges emerge and times get a little tough. And our experiences, with these guys showed me that they're the kind of partners I want to have. They're super smart. I often joke that when it comes to active, the founders are three geniuses and me. I don't have a technical background. My background is in finance and accounting, real estate, and venture capital. We'll get to that. So having gotten to know these guys, and I mean really know them, friendships have developed out of business, which is always healthier than business developing out of friendships. That can be far more problematic. So I knew who they were, and when they asked me if I wanted to become a part of this, it took me about 2 seconds to say yes, because working with the right people who are smart, but who have the right values and the right understanding and are good humans is super important in anything you do. It is tough enough to start and grow a new company. If you don't have the right team in place, it becomes next to impossible. So that's part of it. That's the people, and I put that at the very, very top of the list. The second thing is there's two pieces to this. Whenever we make investments through our family venture capital fund, it's called Seaglass Ventures. It is really important to be guided by, I think, at least two general principles. We want to do well financially, but equally and oftentimes more importantly, we want to do good. It's really important that we are invested in companies that are positioned to make the world a little bit better. That is super important. And obviously, water and drinkable water is a huge issue. It's not getting all the attention that it deserves at the moment. We don't need to go through all the statistics. You guys know them very, very well, but we have a real crisis. There's no other way to describe it. And fresh, clean, drinkable water is essential. So when these guys came up with this idea of actually being able to impact the desalination process in a very, very meaningful way. Oftentimes we hear people talk about things that are paradigm changing, and it's really more words than anything else. But in this case, it's really, really true. And, is there risk? Of course, there's always risk. But without risk, there's no reward. And somebody once said, no risk, no story. So the ability to get involved with people who I have the greatest respect for, personally and professionally, and work on a project that has the potential to significantly impact and better the world was just, it checked all the boxes. And I was super excited about it when we started, and my enthusiasm has not waned at all.
That's super interesting. You said a lot about the team, that you know the guys and you know them very well, and you invested within 2 seconds in them. So how's your ratio between, let's say, I invest into this company because of team and technology? Would you say, what is the balance? 80% people and 20% technology? Is it 50-50? How is it for you?
Great question. I think it's 100 and 100.
It
Okay,
doesn't work.
so okay, well, so we take them one. If you take them one at a time, it does work. So let's take the first thing, the product. Okay, I've been involved in venture capital for over 30 years, and you learn a lot, mostly through the deals that don't go well. So one of the things that's super important is, and I'm going to talk about the product first. So between 0 and 100% on the product, it is critical to establish that there is a pain point and there is a need for a solution. It's not interesting to create a solution and then go out and try to convince people that you have a solution to a problem that they may not even see as a problem. It is much more important to identify a pain point and a problem and then find the solution. That's critical. Then you get into the ways that, how are you going to protect it? And obviously IP is one, trade secrets are another. The beauty of membranes are that unless you understand how long the membrane sits in each bath, how long it rests, what's in the coating, how thick is it, these are trade secrets that are valuable. So you have to be able to protect this solution that you have. And then you need to also know that there is a market that is significant enough for you to create value, to commercialize it and create value. So those three things: finding the solution, making sure that it's protectable and that somebody can't just come up right behind you, as people always are, and just copy it or reverse engineer it. And then that there is a market, and you can see based on where we are, how we can grow into that market and scale the business. So that's my first one, and they get 100 points on that. Then you move to the second one, which we've already talked about, and these guys all get 100 points. No notes, 100 points, no notes. So that's the way I approach it. But to your answer, I'm going to say, boy, I'm going to say it's 50-50.
Yeah.
Only because having one element, you can have the greatest product, and if you don't have the team that can execute, it's going to be really, really hard to succeed. Or you can have the greatest team, but you don't have a product that solves a specific problem. That's going to be challenging too. So I'm not trying to dodge your question. I think they're equally important. And I'll say 50-50.
50-50 is at least an answer. Which is a great one, right? Because what I feel most of the investors, they are looking more into the tech rather than into the team. That's sometimes what I feel, but maybe I'm wrong. But
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Rick, I mean, I know your background, and your background is not water, right? And Ariane and I, maybe we are a little bit biased, but what is your perspective from as someone from outside about water reuse, desalination, water scarcity, all these kind of things? How do you see that?
I see it as a topic with a flashing red light, that needs attention now while there's still time to address it. And so many elements of this. Desal is critical. It's critical now, and it's going to become more critical. So think about so desal plant, what's the big deal? Well, here in California, one of the big deals are a number of people who don't want these plants anywhere near them. Oh, desal, I love it. I'm super green. Oh, I'm reducing my carbon footprint. Oh, desal? Oh, no, not down the street from me at my beach. Okay. So they're stakeholders, and their point has to be acknowledged. So what's the answer? Well, because our time is limited, I mean, if we can reduce the size of a full-on desal plant from the ocean by 50% by eliminating the pre-treatment train, now we can tell people, look, we can build smaller plants. We can knock half the size of it off right away. Oh, so the plant just got smaller? Oh, that's interesting. That has to be a positive. We also work with brackish water. We don't seem to, the places where we find the brackish water don't seem to have quite the opposition on a regular basis from other individuals. And then we can go from there. I feel it is super important when you are someone who is blessed with a really nice, easy life. I do believe there's a responsibility that comes with that to look for places where you can make a difference. So there are obviously places all around the world that don't have clean drinking water. And if we can help individuals better their lives by facilitating their ability to get that clean water, that's the best. That's wonderful. And again, it goes back to we want to do well, but we also want to do good. Um, and I mean, those are the big things. I don't think it's difficult to understand that water resources are diminishing, particularly fresh water, and we really need to do something about it. And I think if we start early and we're smart about how we do it, we can involve all the stakeholders. We can whittle away at the opposition and then end up with an incredible result. You know, it is not, I've explained this, and I explain it in kind of a lay way without all of the science and the engineering. But if you talk about like our plant, for example, in Fillmore, and I did this on Sunday. We're having breakfast with cousins. Show them what the plant looked like before and what it looks like after. Show them how the efficiency is improved, and then tell them that we're going to use the water to irrigate avocado crops. People understand that it is not the technology is very understandable, and this is a big thing. So I think water is critical, and it's got applications in so many ways. Um, so we could go on and on about that, but I think I'm going on too long anyway.
No, no worries about that. It's awesome, especially Fillmore. We talked a lot today about Fillmore. Yeah, I mean, final question for me, from little investor to real investor. What would be your best advice to any investor who wants to invest in water tech?
Well,
Like a small person, like me. If I want to invest in water tech, so from a mature person, you are with a lot of experience. What is your best advice here?
the best advice is the same advice I give people based on my 35 years of building a commercial real estate company. Find the best property that you can. Doesn't matter how big it is. Find the best property that you can afford and buy it. And it doesn't, it you start out small, we all do, and you grow from there. I mean, obviously, I have a bias. There are a lot of wonderful water companies around. I don't think there's a water company that is better for investment than Active Membranes for the reasons we've talked about today. And the fact that fresh water is just going to continue to be a challenge that needs to be met. I thought you were going to ask me a slightly different question, just about investors in general, but this is a really good question. I mean, just find the best company you can. So let's go back to where we started. Let's find a company that's got a product that solves a problem, whose technology can be protected, and whose technology can be scaled, commercialized, and then couple that with the best team that you can find, both technically and from a cultural standpoint, because it's super important to be able to build a team, and nobody's going to be able to do this alone. We have to have a team around us, and there are many things that we do at Active and that Aryan does as our leader, our team captain and CEO, that really turn our employees into owners. I mean, literally through options and stock in the company, but also through the culture that we create. So, to your question, find the best property, the best company you can buy, and don't focus on how much of it you can buy especially when you're starting out. I mean, if you're a seasoned investor, that's a different topic. You make the investment and you own a more significant piece. That's wonderful. But for somebody who's starting out, allocate your resources, spread them around, and find the best companies with the best technology and the best teams in whatever areas you deem to be important, and go for it.